Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be getting through a bunch of interesting Rattler PCGS Classic Commemorative Half Dollars with Gary from World Class Coins. We talked about the first 12, and this is part 2, so that video probably released about 5 or 6 days ago, and you know, right off the bat we've got a fascinating coin here. But Gary, thanks for joining us. Maybe we take a little bit of a review and backpedal to what Rattlers are, why they're significant, maybe why you're putting together this collection.
Thanks for having me, Christian. So, a Rattler is the first holder which PCGS made. PCGS started slabbing coins in 1986, and the Rattler was continued up until 1989. And it's called a Rattler because if you shake it, the coin will rattle. And I think it's very interesting that this is the first kind of holder that PCGS slabbed coins in, so it shows originality to the best of its extent.
Yeah, and that's a great overview. I do want to talk about each of the individual coins because sometimes there's insight that, oh, this coin is made a certain way. You know, this is obviously special because it's got the gold CAC sticker, meaning that it's undergraded significantly, and you know, it's just a gorgeous coin. Do you have any insight about this? How did you buy it? I'm just interested in the whole process.
This was actually the first commemorative which I bought, and so I guess this is the one that started it all. And I had no intentions on building this set. I'm working on a 50-piece type set of commemoratives. I had no intentions on starting it, but I guess it seems kind of fun to do because you're kind of forced to buy one of every design. So you get to buy some you like and buy some you don't like.
Yeah, and this one, really, I always find the interesting history reminds me of the Mercury dime, then obviously the Union Confederate shields, but really, really cool coin. How would you grade this? Do you think it's a 66 or 66 plus, or do you think it has a shot higher?
I think in today's grading scale, today it's a 67. I think it's accurate as a 67. I think it's just a solid 67. I don't think it's any better. I don't think it's any worse. The coin has very nice eye appeal. When you cartwheel the coin, it has a very pleasing look. It doesn't have any spots. It doesn't have any major detractions. It has like a dirty look, I guess you could say. If you tilt it back away from the camera or towards it, in front of the face, behind the head, you kind of see some what looks like a dirty kind of haze, but I think that's very attractive.
Awesome. Well, we've got 11 more coins that I'm really curious to go through. Another gold CAC, Mint State 63, this time for the Pilgrim from 1920. There are a few minor known varieties. I think there's like some die breaks on the Pilgrims, but I don't know much else outside of that. I think it's the lowest grade that I've seen in this collection, so why did you purchase it, and what's the story here?
I think I purchased it as a placeholder. It's lower grade than I had hoped, but I guess the gold sticker is a nice bonus, which means the gold sticker would entail that the coin is superior quality for the current grade, so it would a gold sticker on a 63 would receive a green sticker on a 64. I think that's a nice bonus. I like the design on the back. It's very interesting. It has a very large boat on the back, which takes up the majority of the coin. I like it. I mean, it looks very cool. It kind of pops out at you. Yeah,
I know that there are some ship collectors, whether it's the really cheap half pennies from Britain or some of the Portuguese coins. They're always gorgeous when they're on the coins. And the classic commemorative, that's a relatively large planchet size where you can really work with a lot. There we see another ship right behind it, but some of the most beautiful designs and maybe a little bit of tab toning, but also a sky-high grade, Mint State 67 back then. What's the story here?
I purchased this one from a client of mine whose name is Johnny. This stands out to me, not so much the coin, but the holder itself. It's very rare to find high-grade Rattlers. This is a MS67. So many people cracked these out over the last 35 years. So higher grades in original holders are very sought after, and they're very scarce to find.
Yeah, no, it's that makes sense, and super cool. I mentioned the tab toning. Can you give a little perspective on what that is? Or I assume it's how the coin was stored in the original mint packaging, so it's like an original look to have this split?
Like usually in the center you would have more toning, and then outside of the center would be blast white, and then the rims, which you can see near the top, from 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, there's some color. that's about it.
Awesome. After that, we'll see, we've got a Monroe, lower grade, but some really interesting toning. Sort of seems like a flat strike, but I assume that a lot of them come like this. Yeah.
Monroes are struck with some of the worst relief of all of the commemorative half dollars. They look disgusting, which is unfortunate, and for a Monroe issue, this is actually a very nice example. It has really great luster on the reverse. The obverse, which Christian just showed, is a bit flat and subdued, but the coin itself is actually very high quality. Regardless of what the grade says on the holder, a 63 or a 64, it would not impress anybody, but the coin itself is actually very nice.
Yeah, and in terms of, you are collecting this set, so do you care about the grades on the holders, or are you just focused on the coins and wow, that's a special one?
I would like to have a high grade Rattler, but if the coin in the holder is nice, but it's in a low grade Rattler, I think that's acceptable for me. This coin, the Roanoke, just has amazing color, and color coins in original Rattler holders are somewhat scarce. They're picked through and they're bought up quickly because they're just beautiful. So finding them is very scarce.
Yeah, and on a lot of these, are you buying these publicly? I saw a great collection sticker.
Mm-hmm.
What's the primary sourcing?
Anywhere I can find them, I guess.
Yeah, and then next up, we have this. I think the Cleveland's like a cheaper classic commemorative in generally, so just as, a little tidbit for people who might want to pick up one of these. Yeah,
there's a lot of commemoratives in the set where they're lower price range. So this one I think is like a $200, $250 coin. There's a lot of commemoratives in the series where they're like $200 coins. And then there's a lot of coins where in higher grade, like the Roanoke, which was previously shown, that's a $1,000 coin in PQ, premium quality MS66.
Gotcha. And yeah, what is, as we move to the next one, PQ, that's a term that gets thrown around a lot, and I always like to include like little tidbits of coin information. Just a really, is that an eye appeal thing or a grading term? How do you use it?
It can be both. Eye appeal, grade-wise, surface-wise, it can be anything.
And this Oregon, going to be Mint State 66, also a long run of different classic commems. They produced these for many years, finally ran out, but always really nice relief and reminds me of playing the Oregon Trail video game. What's the story here?
I purchased this one in an auction. It stood out to me because it's a high-grade Rattler, but I don't like the coin very much because the coin has subdued luster. I sent it to CAC and it didn't receive a sticker because on the reverse, it's just loaded with PVC. Above the wagon cart, there's a ton of PVC, which looks like it's like a brown crusty haze on this coin. It's very unappealing, and in the eyes of the coin market, it's not looked upon as a positive. It's a negative on a coin.
Okay.
Kind of like damage.
Gotcha.
Environmental damage.
Would this straight grade today if you sent it in?
It will straight grade probably. It's a pretty common coin. It's not something rare. If you had a major rarity and it had environmental damage, I'm not so confident that would grade or that it would pass. But something so common like this, I'm sure it would pass through. And it's not very severe.
Good to know. After that, I think there's one, I think you're going for a type, so there's, different, you're doing one of each, so there's not too many of the same, but we have two of the York, and maybe we'll pull them out now. Maybe I'll show them, I had zoomed in, but we'll show them first, and now we see that one of these is actually a 67, one of them's a 66. I sort of definitely have my pick of which one's nicer, and how do you think about them?
My goal is to have the highest grade I can. However, the 66 is far superior in color and eye appeal. So I bought the both of them to have them. In terms of the goals of my set, the MS67 fits more. However, I would not let the MS66 go just because it's superior, what I would consider A+ eye appeal. It's beautiful.
I agree. That's always my favorite type of toning, the super fiery, fire red, orange, yellow, red. Any other comments on these before we move to the next one?
That's about it.
I'm seeing an Iowa coin with a CAC sticker. Going to also be Mint State 67, the Statehood Centennial 1946. And yeah, really cool coin for sure. And really nice color, maybe a little more muted compared to that York, but is that just how these come, or, you know, what? Yeah.
This coin's a bit grungy looking in terms of how brown it is and terminal it is. However, on the front, the color really comes out when you cartwheel the coin. It's a bit crusty in the center. However, it's actually a very high-end 67, and I actually paid 68 money. I think the coin's a 68 by today's standards. The coin's very nice.
Do you think that if you were going to send this in to try to get a 68, would you want to dip it, or would you leave the terminal toning on?
I would leave it as original as it is, and that's just a general rule that I follow on coins. It's best to leave them as original as it is. Sometimes when you dip a coin or remove or strip its original surfaces, you take away originality, and originality gets you very far when looking at coins. That's
a helpful perspective to have, I think, and always enjoy those. Yeah, again, little tidbits. This one, more of a just super blast white, different. We'll check out the back, but Mint State 65 from New Rochelle, which is like 30 minutes from my home.
Something that's interesting about this is PCGS started slabbing coins with the cert number 1080000. So that would mean that this is the 16,553rd coin that they graded.
That is neat. Is there, you know, a point at which the serial number gets super low and then it's only valuable because of that really low serial number? Would this fit in that category?
Any Rattler which has a cert which starts with the 4 digits where they are 1080 or 1081 and sometimes 1082. Those are the most valuable, and they trade for a lot of money, sometimes as much as $3,000 or $4,000 just for the holder. No coin. Like, if the coin is super common and the cert is 1080 or 1081, they trade for $3,000, $4,000 sometimes.
Wow. No, it's interesting. Yeah, that legacy. It's like the grasshopper coin that sold for $5,500. I was thinking about putting a bid on that, but ended up not winning it. That was a little higher than what I wanted to pay. Maine, we have a statehood, probably centennial or tercentenary, I'm not sure exactly. Mint State 64, probably a little lower grade than some of the other stuff I've seen.
This is another coin I consider a placeholder. I just bought it to have one. The coin's acceptable in my eyes. If the coin had weak or eye appeal, or if it was ugly, I would not have bought it. But the coin's okay. It's pretty average.
Awesome. Well, I think the nice thing is, A, the Rattlers look really nice to house the coins, and then also, you know, it's just a classic commemorative. It's a collection, way to collect that I always think is really interesting, and I recommend to people. Is there anything else, you know, in conclusion? I think that was our last coin for today.
That's it, but thank you for having me, Christian.
Wonderful. Well, I'll look forward over here as a little preview. If we do end up filming them, we've got some really cool non-classic commemoratives in the Rattler holders that we might get to on another video. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Treasure Town, and get in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, check out my website, treasuretowncoins.com, for news and updates related to the channel and collectibles in general. Lastly, there's a link tree in the description with links to all of my other sites, as well as some affiliate links that can support the channel. But with that being said, have a great day, and I'll hope to see you on some of my videos in the future.